Hello everybody, this is Promise and I am casting some more Wings of Liberty StarCraft 2 games. This is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss match. And this is going to be a cool game because MillFeast is a player that was pretty popular early on, or he was kind of just getting himself into the community. Of course, part of the team Millennium. And he was a guy that went to IEMs, did some pretty good results. I'm not really too sure in terms of who the players he beat. I believe he might have beaten Idra as well as Cass, or he beat Cass and lost to Idra or something like that around those words. But, you know, MillFeast is definitely someone that is on the rise and has been practicing a lot in Europe. And, you know, has some pretty good practice partners on Millennium now that 4GG is finally part of the team. So we'll definitely be seeing a lot more here from Feast, I'm assuming, in the near future. But his opponent we have here in the bottom right side, spawning in as our blue Protoss, we have Liquid'HerO. And I don't really think I need to introduce this guy. This guy is arguably one of the best Protosses in the world. He was kind of the guy that was very good in PvZ, still has one of the best PvZs, if not the best PvZ in the world. And reason being is he is not afraid to make Warp Prisms in all the matchups. Hero is a guy that, you know, he's a pretty consistent player, very, very emotional player, takes losses extremely hard. But, you know, that's definitely a plus when you're a competitor. When you lose, you don't just lose and give up. You have to lose. You have to go back home or go back to the house and grind out some more games to get yourself back in shape. And Hero is a guy that, you know, he's motivated, and he's a guy that, you know, I feel will get back up to the par that he was at before early on in the previous seasons of CSL. But let's talk so far about the matchup. We have a Protoss versus Protoss, MillFeast against Hero. PvP is a matchup that has changed so much during the beta. You rarely ever see 4 gates anymore, although players can mix that up into some kind of best of 3 format or some kind of tournament play. But generally you see very quick second gases. You can see Phoenix in this matchup. You can see some robotics facility play, you know, immortal expansions. Blink is not really so good on this map because it's very hard to find areas to blink into. This is one area, but I mean, who would want to blink here when you have, you know, your opponent's units in this location? They can just force field and completely you know, kill off all your units. But let's talk about the tech. So we're seeing a gateway coming down from Feast. Cybernetics core is down for both players around the same time. It looks like Hero going to get a quickly or a slightly quicker warp gate technology here. Not a big game changer at all. Second gas for both players, in fact. So Hero going for second gas as well, and adding a second gateway. Meanwhile, Feast has not added any kind of gateway. So Hero playing a little bit more of a defensive PvP style. He can go ahead and go for the 3 Stalker Rush, poke around into the main of Feast. Maybe if Feast is playing greedy, he'll have a Zealot and a Stalker. Maybe Feast will go ahead and Chrono Boost out some units. But the probe of Hero actually going to go ahead and scout once again. And Feast actually thought he was going to go ahead and kill the probe, but the Stargate is going to get scouted by Hero. And Hero knows exactly what he's facing. Feast can go ahead and cancel that Stargate, which is exactly what he does, and gets a robotic facility. This is actually such a sneaky move from Feast. Hero sees the Stargate and he gets a Twilight Council, and if you look strictly at Hero's vision at this point, he sees all he sees is the Stargate. So really clever play here from Feast, canceling it and going immediately into robotics facility. And generally the thing to counter Stargate is exactly what Hero's doing, going for a blink very quickly. He might even be able to hit a timing here off of 1 or 2 bases, maybe when Feast has 2 or 3 Phoenix on the map, because Feast is not going to have a lot of units on the ground. He's just investing, or he would be investing into Phoenix, but in fact it's not going to be that from Feast. So now this could actually bite Hero in the butt a little bit, because, you know, Immortals can come out of the robotics facility, obviously, and if Hero overcommits here into this Blink Stalker play, Immortals are pretty much going to kill everything that Hero has. But Blink's about to be halfway done right now. Another gateway being added, 2 additional Stalkers. Gonna go ahead and get warped into the base of Hero. Meanwhile, if we look in Feast's base, we see there is another gateway being added. The robotics facility has completed. Observers on its way. So, really interesting opening from both players at this point. So Hero's not even gonna go for any kind of Blink Observer, just going straight into Blink. And Feast, meanwhile, expanding behind this. So Hero on one base. Feast going to be on two base if he can go ahead and keep that expansion up. But Feast knows that Hero is in fact going to be pretty damn aggressive as he sees the pylon coming out. You can see the probe as well of Hero, and Immortals immediately going to get produced here from Feast. So all Feast has to do is just hold the ramp. As we see Hero going to go ahead and blink up into the main, jumping right over the high ground. Force Field trying to go down, but Hero doing a pretty good job of focusing down some of these units. The Immortals going to come out right now from Feast, and right away Hero tells himself, huh? What? You went Stargate and then super quick robotics facility, or you must have just canceled your Stargate and went directly into this robotics play. Which is exactly what Feast does, or Feast already did. And if we see the production tab, there's another Immortal on its way. 2 additional gateways being added from Feast. Meanwhile, Hero doing the smart thing, not overextending at all. Looks like he's going to go ahead and prepare himself to take a natural expansion. And if Hero can buy enough time, force Feast to go ahead and stay into one base, and then Hero can go ahead and tech to Immortals of his own, he is definitely going to have an advantage. 2 base against 1 base. Pretty obvious that the 2 base player will have an advantage, and just as I say that, we see the robotics facility being started from Hero right over here to the main base. Feast, as I mentioned before as well, he added 2 additional gateways. There is another Immortal being chrono boosted out for Millennium's Feast. Both players pretty even in supply. As I look at the units tab, 32 probes to 31. It looks like Hero wants to go ahead and attack into it. Going to go ahead and go up the ramp, blinking away. Of course, 3 Immortals, they can kill this. Yeah, 3 Immortals can definitely kill that. But Hero just, you know, does not want Feast to be greedy at all. It doesn't want him to go ahead and tech into Blink or anything like that of his own. And, you know, there's a Twilight Council on its way. And Feast doing a pretty good follow-up from here. He knows he can't expand, so what can he really do? He's going to go ahead and make a Warp Prism. This can be double Immortal drops. This can be some Zealot harassment into the main base of Hero. But Hero, you know, quickly but surely catching up in Harvesters. 33 probes to 32. He's going to go ahead and have some Immortals on the map, as we see. Okay, so he hasn't started any kind of Immortal production yet. He went immediately into this Observer play. Not a bad idea from Hero. Feast sitting on 71 supply, 64 supply for Hero. As we see, the Warp Prism is now on the map for Feast. Loading up 4 Zealots, so he is in fact going to go ahead and do some economic harassment here to the economy of Hero. But Hero sees this. Ooh! That sucks so bad for Feast. Okay, so... Alright, Feast is right away just going to send the Warp Prism back as if nothing happened. And Hero getting pylons on the map. But hold that thought, it looks like Feast trying to go down into the ramp. Force Field's going down from Hero. Hero focusing down one of the Immortals. That's going to go down, but at the same time... Feast doing a tremendous amount of damage here, killing a lot of these Stalkers from Hero. Of course, you know, without Blink Stalkers or anything like Colossi to go ahead and break these force fields, nothing is going to be able to help here Feast, or nothing's going to be able to help Feast here at all. And Hero doing a pretty good job of killing some Zealots, killing some Sentries, even was able to kill an Immortal. But just do not be fooled by the supplies, guys. Feast's army is extremely scary right now. 65 supply to 71. Hero knows that that's a critical number of Immortals. It's going to be very hard to go ahead and do anything against it. And at the same time, Hero's expansion is still up and running. So his economy is definitely better than Feast's. 36 probes to 32. Looks like Hero trying to blink into the main base. Blink is going to finish right now from Feast, from Feast. And Hero knows he has to blink out of there. So... I don't know, this is just so back and forth. The only thing that Hero has going for him, honestly, is this expansion. And he has a robotics facility, so he can go ahead and produce Immortals. But Feast does not look like he is going to expand anytime soon, as you see him making his way across the map with a pretty damn scary army. But Hero blinking again right into the main base of Feast. Feast has no units, immediately going to go ahead and start to chrono boost some of these gateways to get some Stalkers in position. But, yeah, I mean, Hero is just buying himself as much time as possible. If you look at the production tab, Hero is just making some Immortals. Feast is like, you know what, I'm not having any of it. I'm just going to go ahead and go for a counterattack. 65 supply for Feast, 89 supply for Hero. 2 Stalkers get completely diced up here, or just shot down very quickly here by the Stalkers. And here comes the push. Just by the looks of it, it looks like Hero has too many units for him to be able to do anything. But at the same time, these Zealots doing some pretty good damage. Probes getting pulled off the mineral line for Hero. Feast falling down to 57 supply, now 53 supply, and Hero did a phenomenal job of defending against this. Back home, in Feast's base, he did lose some probes, so he's down to 20 probes compared to the 41. Doesn't have a proxy pylon in position. Okay, I was just about to say, man, If you're going to go for this push, you definitely need to have a pylon a lot closer to your opponent's base, as we see a pylon being started there for Feast. The longer this goes, the better it's going to be for Hero. Just look at the units tab. We see 2 Zealots, 4 Immortals, 10 Stalkers, 4 Hero, 2 Zealots, 2 Immortals, 14 Stalkers for Feast. So more Stalkers for Feast, but much more Immortals here for Hero. 4 Immortals are going to be pretty good against this many Stalkers, as well as Blink is done for both players. Looks like Feast going to go ahead and go up the ramp for one final push. Blink is done for both players. We can see some pretty good Blink micro being done by Feast, but Hero's supply count is just way too high at this point. Even Hero showing us some pretty good Blink. And it looks like Feast going to go ahead and Blink on top of the Immortals. Not the best idea. 2, 3. Okay, 2 Immortals going to go down, but there is still 3 remaining on this side, and no Immortals remaining here from Feast. Feast going to go ahead and Blink away. Probes still getting completely pulled off the mineral line here from Hero. But Hero knows, you know, his opponent does not have an expansion. All he has to do right now is worry about this area and just defend it. If he can defend and hold for as long as possible, he's going to be in a pretty good position. But it looks like Feast blinking into the main base of Hero just in the nick of time, and Immortal going to come out from here right now, and Feast does not have, yeah, that's going to be it. So Feast throws in the towel, calls GG. Hero with a spectacular defense against the aggression here by Feast. Feast couldn't expand. How can he expand when he's down into Harvesters and he's down on expansion? He kind of has to go for a one base all in, and that's kind of what happens in the PvP matchup. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this cast, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.